In less than a week, there's going to be a three-part documentary series called Sins of Our Mother. It's going to be released on Netflix. The docuseries is about Lori Vallow, and she's the Rexburg mom, you remember, who is charged with killing her two kids, JJ and Tylee.
Their remains were found on her current husband, Chad Daybell's property back in 2020. With the documentary about the case hitting TVs ahead of the couple's trial, we wanted to know if it could impact jury selection, because the trial is going to be here in the largest county in the state. KTVB's Shira Matsuzawa looked into it.
To find out, I reached out to Dave Leroy, who is the former Idaho Attorney General, former Lieutenant Governor, and a defense lawyer. But we also wanted to check in with JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry Woodcock, to get their thoughts on that potential impact and how they're feeling right now. We should also note it was 3 years ago today when Tylee was last seen alive.
How are you, Bubba?
I'm not good, Mom.
I'm so sorry.
Are you sorry for me, or are you sorry for my siblings?
Those siblings are JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan, who went missing in September of 2019. Investigators found their remains outside Rexburg on Chad Daybell's property. The End Times author from Idaho is Lori Vallow's fifth and current husband. The couple is now charged with murder and conspiracy to commit murder in the deaths of Vallow's kids, as well as Daybell's late wife, Tammy Daybell. Tammy died in October of 2019, a month after the children went missing.
I would have never thought you would have ever done something like this.
What is it that you think that I've done?
An upcoming Netflix series shines a light on Lori Vallow through the eyes of Lori's oldest son, Colby.
Two detectives come and knock on the door. Is Tylee or JJ here? I was like, Tylee, my sister? I call my mom, and her phone's dead.
Sins of Our Mother will air on September 14th. It comes 4 months before the couple is set to stand trial in January of 2023 in Ada County, some 300 miles away from where the kids' remains were found. So we wanted to know, could this documentary impact jury selection in this case?
Well, ironically, jury selection was moved from eastern Idaho to Ada County to minimize the exposure and press and any kind of publicity that had attended the case.
Dave Leroy is the former Idaho Attorney General, former Lieutenant Governor, and a defense lawyer. He says any kind of publicity has the potential to influence a person's judgment in terms of making a decision about a case should they be selected as a juror.
In every jury case, there is a process at the very beginning called voir dire, where the jurors or prospective jurors are subjected to interrogation by the prosecutor, by the defense lawyer, and by the judge from time to time. And the specific question as to those jurors is, can they be fair? Are they biased? And a part of those questions is, what do you know about the facts of the case? Have you learned anything from any source that may influence you as a juror? The rules for jurors is that you must decide the case only on the evidence you hear in the courtroom and see in the courtroom, nothing from the outside.
In a case like this, hundreds, if not thousands, of potential jurors are summoned. Leroy adds, just because someone has heard of Lori Vallow doesn't necessarily disqualify them from being a juror.
The judge will instruct the jury that perhaps everyone in the room has heard the name Lori Vallow or may have heard something, a bit of something, about the case. The real question is, have you formed, based on what you've heard, an opinion about the guilt or the innocence of the defendant in this case?
Kay and Larry Woodcock are JJ's grandparents and have been at many of the case's proceedings. We reached out to get their thoughts.
I believe that as a juror, if I was elected to go and be on, to be a juror, if I did have a bias, it's my duty to be honest and tell them I'm biased and I don't need to be in the jury. So I believe that, it's up to the people that are in the jury pool to make that choice. And I hope that they all make the right choice, because we don't want to have to do this again.
Because this has already been a long and trying road for the Woodcocks and their family.
When they announced the trial date, I was able to finally kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And now, as we're approaching it, it's just let's get it done.
As the parties involved gear up for Lori and Chad's trial and summon potential jurors, Kay and Larry are also summoning their inner strength.
How do you prepare to learn things that you know are going to just kill your soul?
If it was a boxing match, you train and you put together a plan, and the bell rings and you get hit smack in the nose the first time, and all the plans go out. When you're sitting in that seat and they start talking about my little man, I don't care how prepared you are, you lose it.
And then we go back to the corner and we catch our breath, and then we go back out again, and we just keep doing it, and we keep doing it, and we'll keep doing it until we don't have to do it anymore.
But until that moment comes, Kay and Larry just want closure.
We're tired. We simply want to bury the kids the way they should have had a proper burial a long time ago.
Something they haven't been able to do since investigators found JJ and Tylee more than 2 years ago.
They are waiting on the defense to decide if they're going to want second autopsies on them, and that is why we're waiting. And until that happens, we can't do anything.
What do you hope to see in the end? I know you mentioned closure. What does that look like for you?
Closure for me at this point in my life is simply giving those two children what they deserve,
Putting them to rest.
putting them to rest. What happens to Lori and Chad, it's in the jury's hand.
And Kay and Larry tell me they do plan on watching the Netflix documentary. They also say one thing that helps them get through all of this is the support from their family, but also support from people here in Idaho and across the country. They even get messages of support from people as far as Dubai. The Woodcocks tell me they want closure for not only JJ and Tylee, but also Tammy Daybell and Charles Vallow. Charles is Kay's brother and Lori's fourth husband, and Lori is also charged with conspiracy to murder him, and that trial is set to begin in Arizona once the trial is complete here in Idaho.